Hello, you guys. This is Pam with Pam for Christ. Um, First of all, thank you for clicking on this channel and for watching the video. I love you guys for that. Thank you, thank you. Second of all, I have another channel called. Actually, I have 5 channels, and one of my channels is called I86 That. Now, that's talking about relationships and stuff like that because I have like this counseling group, and I when you've already been there, done that, you can pretty much, you're an expert. You pretty much tell everybody else what's going on and how to help in their relationships. And I can say I'm very proud of that because I actually do help relationships to men get better, come back together, whether they're married or engaged or boyfriend girlfriend or whatever, and they're trying to find ways to make the relationship better. I've had plenty of experience as far as like personal wise and also educational wise. I've had experience from it or whatever. So whatever I know and whatever I learn, I don't mind about passing it on to someone else. But this story right here sort of coincides with what we were talking about in that particular counseling session when we were saying how it's hard to find a good woman or good man or whatever that can sort of keep up with you, or that can cook or clean or do the things that you want them to do. And even with that being such a broad spectrum of a subject, I was telling them how I first learned how to cook. Now, I was 12 when I first learned how to cook, like, little simple stuff. But I was 13 when I started actually baking, cakes and pies from scratch. And I was, making meals, like big meals, because it was, I was cooking for at least between 5 and 9 people at a time. So even now, I'm used to actually cooking big meals. And right now it's no one but me, but I'm used to cooking big meals. And when I do that, I normally share with neighbors or friends. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm just used to doing that. So when they smell an aroma coming from my house, they're like knocking on the door, "Hey, what you cooking? Can I get a plate?" I don't mind about feeding nobody. I mean, as y'all can see, I'm a big girl. You get what I'm saying? And that may be the reason why I'm a big girl. But when I cook my meals and stuff like that, I will share. I will give it to anybody because that's just how I grew up. When you cook something, you gave it to everybody. You shared that with everybody. But anyway, to get into the story, what what I was telling them how I learned how to cook, which was sort of funny because, like I said, when I was 12, I was already cooking, little simple stuff. You can open up a can of this or a can of that. You can heat that up. You can fry egg. You can boil an egg. You can do hot dogs and stuff like that. So, it's like Mama, she didn't trust me, because she didn't want me burning down the house or nothing like that. So, she knew I caught on quick, but she just didn't trust me to do these things by myself. And my oldest sister, she knew how to cook because when my dad died, I was 6 years old, going on 7 years old, and she had to pretty much, she wasn't but 12. And with us having like the 6 year difference, she had to literally help to take care of us. I mean, she did such an excellent job taking care of us and having to, cook and clean and help us with homework and stuff like that or whatever. But it was a family effort, with everybody having to come together, and that was basically like her role. So of course she got thrown into learning how to cook early because she had to help to take care of her siblings because it was 5 of us. I'm the youngest out of 12, but as far as like in the family with my mom had 5. So my brother, he learned how to cook after we had moved in town because we stayed in the country or whatever. But when we moved in town, he pretty much learned how to cook and do his little thing or whatever. And he did a great job. But a lot of times when he cooked just for him or his uncles or for his friends or something like that. So I didn't get a chance to participate in that, but I did watch my mom when she did like a lot of stuff, hand me the garlic and hand me this and cut up the onions, So of course I looked at everything that she did, but like I said, she still didn't trust me. So what ended up happening was where I'm from, back in Mississippi, we had a curve. Of course, everyone has a dead man's curve in their hometown. So I haven't been somewhere where no one's never had a dead man's curve. It's always some big sharp curve you have to go around. You have to slow down and be careful and stuff like that. So we had one of those curves, and not too often did 18-wheelers come our way. And if they did, it was because they were trying to either take a shortcut or they were lost. But for the most part, they were lost because not too many people knew the shortcut through our small little town. And we may have had a population at that time of like 500 people. If 500 people, to tell you the truth, I really don't even think we had a population of 500 people at that time. It may have been 400. And I would say, I want to say 500, but I really think it was 400. I think it was less than, way less than what I'm talking about, because we really didn't see too many people, you know. So population of like 400 people. We're just gonna go with that. And so there was an 18-wheeler, which was a chicken truck. And the guy he said he was already running late from the story that we got after the fact, but he was running late, and he was lost, but he was still running late. And of course, back then they didn't have GPS systems where it tells you where to go. You know, you literally had to use a map. You know, if you didn't know your way around, you had to use a map. And he was literally using a map, and he didn't know about the Dead Man's Curve, so he went flying around the curve. I think he said he was going 70 miles per hour, and he flew around the curve, not anticipating that the curve was a sharp curve. And the chicken truck, the 18-wheeler, it flipped over, and it was chicken everywhere. I mean, like literally, it was chicken that was scattered out. Maybe, oh my gosh, maybe like a part, I guess you say half of a quarter of a mile, in like the little baseball field that we had. And so, you know, the guy had called his, he went to the convenience store. He called his boss, told him, you know, that he had an accident in the truck, and the chicken spilled all over everywhere, whatever, blah blah blah. And I think maybe like 2 hours later, they sent out some guy to be able to survey, some insurance guy, whatever, to survey the damage. And they sent the tow truck out for the 18-wheeler. And he asked the guy, you know, how much of it was salvageable that he could put back on the truck. And he was like, literally none. I mean, he had like just a few boxes that didn't come off the truck. But for the most part, all the boxes of chicken head came off. And so he was like, well, to them it was non-usable. It was contaminated. It was considered contaminated because it was outside of the 18-wheeler, outside of, you know, the refrigerated truck. And so he said just to give it to the people that was in town. Mind you, we never got action like that. You know, it was one of those type of things where if the ambulance came, it's like everybody in town was following the ambulance, because we didn't get action like that. We didn't get stuff that actually happened in our, you know, little small country town like that. So when he said that, it's like everybody ran home, because he was wondering what was going on, because everybody ran home. But they ran home to get their friends or family members, and they told them, hey, the chicken truck that turned over is free. So come up here to get the chicken. Man, do you know that dude got wiped out in 30 minutes. Everybody in town, our little small population, everybody in town had chicken. I think the funny part about it was, if you had came through the town, I don't even think you'll know that it was the town, because there was so much smoke in the air. I mean, you would have thought we were doing bonfires all day long. For 7 whole days, everybody was barbecuing. Everybody was cooking chicken. They cooked chicken 25 different ways. I lie to you not. I learned how to cook that week. That was the week that I learned how to cook, because I learned how to make chicken 25 different ways. But it's like everywhere you went, people were barbecuing. People was baking, broiling, frying, barbecuing. They was making chicken salad. It was so many different ways that, you know, we were able to make chicken. And I guess you could say it was unlucky for the driver. I hate that, but it was a blessing for our town. Because when I say we didn't have to go hungry, like literally for like a whole month. But for the first 7 days, it's where everybody just made sure they tried to eat up as much, I guess you could say, as possible, because it was so much of the chicken that every family had. You know, trying to get the chicken and store the chicken. You know, like if you got a deep freezer and you couldn't fit the rest of the chicken or whatever in your deep freezer or, you know, refrigerator, you had to cook up what couldn't fit to make sure that it didn't spoil. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it was so many people that was barbecuing. That's why it looked like our town was on fire. Like literally, because it was smoked up every day for 7 days. It was smoked up. Man, you talking about gaining weight. I think everybody gained at least 20 pounds that whole month, because everybody was eating good. But my mom and my brother taught me the different ways to make the chicken. But when my mama saw that I was really enjoying like cooking it and finding the different ways to cook it, when my mama saw that, please, my mama barely got in the kitchen again after that. And like I said, I was 13, and she barely got in the kitchen again after that. And I learned how to cook in bulk from that point on because I knew how to season food because she would always make me, chop up the celery and chop up the onions and do this and do that and, pass me the season salt, pass me, the garlic and pass me to this and pass me to that. So I pretty much knew, how to season food because I always watched her. But like I said, you know how it is when you can cook something better than somebody else or you can clean up something better than somebody else. You trust yourself to do it because you know that they're not going to do it the way that you do it. But when mama, when she taught her and my brother taught me how to, to fix up stuff, she was like, you cook this better than me. She was like, I don't have to cook no more. And it's sort of the same when your child 16 years old, 17 years old, and they get the driver's license, and your parents or your whoever been driving around so tired of actually having to keep getting up and going back and forth driving you, they could just give you the keys because they're so excited that you know how to drive and that you got your license. And that's how my mama was. She was excited I knew how to cook, and I caught on so quick to the point where she was like, oh, you got it, you can take over from here, you can cook from now on. And like literally, mama, I think I can count on both my hands how many more times I saw mama in the kitchen after that really cooking, because she really didn't have to. Now she'll help me to peel the peas and do the corn and stuff like that, sugar the corn and stuff like that. But please, mama was excited about that. But that was, like I said, one of those unfortunate times for the driver, that truck turned over. But I learned how to cook. I literally learned how to cook in 7 days. The chicken, like I said, 25 different ways, and I really, really enjoyed it. And even to this day, I love to cook. I'm not gonna lie, I love to cook. I cook when I guess you could say, with it being just me, I cook when I have to, but at the same time, when I do cook and I get in the mood cooking, it's like I'm cooking so much, and then like I said, I ended up having to share it with everybody else, or whatever, because it's just me. So I like to see, the looks on their face when they're like, oh, this is so good, oh, a homemade meal, blah blah blah. Sometimes I get very, very lazy, and then I may not cook for a whole month. I may just go out to eat for a whole entire month. But it may be times when I cook every day for a whole month. So it just depends. But I do, love the fact and the concept, of cooking. But when she was telling me that every meat is pretty much the same, when it comes to, ground beef and steaks and this and that, she was like, okay, all of it is pretty much the same. When you're seasoning it, it's pretty much the same, and I learned, even though it was just a chicken that I had learned how to cook, she stepped me up. She had me doing the ground beef. I think like a month later, she had me doing steaks and pork chops, and she had me doing, ground beef. She had me doing casseroles. I mean, she really threw me out there and had me cooking all sorts of meats, all different types of meats, and making all sorts of different casseroles and stuff like that. And but that's basically how I got my start, and it was because of that unfortunate act. But this is your girl Pam with Pam for Christ. Tell me how you got your start, or how old you were when you started cooking, or what was your first dish that you actually cooked and you were successful in doing. And like I said, mine was 25 different ways to make chicken in a month. You know what I'm saying? But I'm real curious to know what yours was. But thank you guys for watching. Like, share, subscribe. But I'll holler at you guys later. In peace.